My name is Jess, and honestly, why would you ever go outside when you could spend a day indoors talking about Big Brother? That's right, we're here to talk about Big Brother episodes 3 and 4 of BB27. And yes, I know I said last video. The one time I say, okay, yeah, I'll see you Saturday, and it's Sunday. Incredibly bad time management. That is my middle name, so what are you gonna do? That's the joys of full medicated ADHD and chronic procrastination. But it's fine. We're here now. And as always, bad time management. I'm the queen of it. I am running down the clock for episode 5 tonight, for Sunday night episode. So we really gotta get into this because we have a lot to discuss. We have some comps to cover, some fights, good or bad, interesting. We have a whole eviction to go through. So let's get into it. So it'd be good if I clicked over to the right screen. There we go. Alrighty. So we picked up on Wednesday night's episode pretty much where we left off on Sunday night, as always. The nominations have just been made by Vince, our HOH. He has put up Amy, Ashley, and Isaiah. They're okay noms, Isaiah, he put up because he's, the accomplice. He's kind of like a bigger guy, bigger threat, whatever. Ashley, he puts up literally because of the shower thing, even though he knows that her shower was only a half an hour, which Julie Jen herself confirmed it was only a 30-minute shower. So the whole shower gate mess got this woman on the block for no reason. And then Amy, because she's close with Ashley, was sobbing. And can you believe it? They're not that happy. Amy is kind of taking it a little better, at least on the outwards, to Vince. She's like, oh, damn. She does call it a weenie move, which is really funny. But Ashley is not as happy. In fact, Ashley's very upset. She goes up with Vince to talk in the HOH. She's crying because they made a deal after, actually, I believe before, obviously. Before. Why would it be after? Before they had done the HOH competition, the 4 of them that had competed, herself, Vince, Adrian, and Jimmy, they had made a deal like, hey, no matter which one of us 4 wins it, we should agree not to put each other up. So they made the deal that more than just, it's not like a deal that the 2 of them made in private together. Multiple people were there, and he blew it, and she's pissed. Over the shower gate situation. So obviously, she's upset. She's crying. She's like, I don't understand. I trusted you. I thought we were going to work together. And he's like, oh, but I thought you didn't. It didn't seem like you trusted me. And it's like, what? Yeah, she was being a little paranoid. That's because people were telling her, hey, everybody's going up to Vince and saying your name as a nominee. Obviously, she's going to be a little paranoid. But she's so upset. And Vince is like trying to backtrack, like, oh, I thought you didn't trust me. I don't know. I just read that way. Oh man, I'm an idiot. I feel like I'm gonna look like an idiot. And Ashley is like cutting into him as he's saying this, because he's like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna look like such an idiot. And she's like, you are. And I'm like, oh, gag him, get his ass for that, because how are you gonna break a deal? Week 1, like the second you make a deal, you've already broken it. That just shows your word isn't shit, and that's not really good to start the game. Like Vince made one deal and he already blew it. And then during this conversation where Ash is very emotional, upset, like the fact that she's like, I could go home week 1 because of this shower nonsense. You've put me on the block. You think I'm a paranoid and I don't trust you. And he says to her, if I win the veto, I'll take you down. In the diary room, he's like, would I actually take her down? No. Okay, so piss her off more. Oh, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why would you tell her that if you don't act? I mean, I know why you would say that. Just to run the risk of just pissing her off. Because it's not like, a traditional season of Big Brother where once veto's done, it's done. And she's going home. With the BB Blockbuster twist, Vince could win that veto, not use it on Ashley, piss her off, and she could have won the blockbuster in state. And now you've made an enemy. A really good enemy now, because she's with Amy and Rachel Riley. And like the last thing I would ever want to do is piss off Rachel Riley. Which he already has at this point, because he put up both Amy and Ashley. It's like, you can't win. But he's an idiot, so. What do I know? You know, I'm not the HOH. He barely wants to be, clearly, you could tell. Because every decision he's making is, like, rough. I don't know. I don't know about Vince's HOH. He apologies, I think I was interrupted again. My bad. But back to what I was saying with Vince. Every decision he makes this week in terms of nomination, he has like an easier way. He just like makes things. I think he's just making things difficult for himself. I don't think he should have gotten in power this first week, because he seems just like very conflicted. But I'll get into that later once we get through, you know, this veto, because things get. Boy, he makes choices. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. But you know, moving on from this whole nominations thing, this is our first 90-minute episode, our first 90-minute veto episode that they have, which is the decision they made this season, which, you know, is a choice. Because Big Brother loves to be like, ooh, it's a 90-minute episode, and they don't give us a lot of substance for that. I mean, you would think they would be able to, you know, with their extra time, be able to build on more of, like, the strategic relationships that people are having, the game talk, things like that. What do we get instead? We get 2 back-to-back showmance segments that aren't really showmances. You know, it's just, I have a lot of feelings about showmances on the show. Usually it's like whatever. I just don't like, they dedicate like a lot. Sometimes they'll dedicate like too much time for showmance in the episodes. It's worse when there's interesting things happening during the week and they're like, you want to watch this video of people making out? And I'm like, no, Big Brother, I'm good, actually. If I wanted to watch it, I could watch the live feeds. But it's worse when it's not even an actual showmance. To be more specific, I'm referring to the Lauren and Zach segment, as well as the Riley and Catherine segment, which is pretty much just Zach and Riley saying they have a crush on Lauren and Catherine, respectively. Lauren is like, he's nice. We're friends for now. They don't even ask Catherine about Riley, which I think is the funniest part. At least with, like, Lauren and Zach, there's a little bit there, more on Zach's side, and Lauren's kind of like, because she's a Big Brother super fan. She knows, like, don't get into showmance, because it's just gonna put a target on you really fast. They don't even ask about Riley for Catherine. They only show Riley talking about his crush on Catherine. So either they didn't ask Catherine, or she was like, hell no. And they were like, that's not gonna fit our narrative, so we're not even gonna put that diary room in. They did show Rachel being like, woo, showmances, love. I'm like, that's great, Rachel. But this is taking time out of my show. I think also because in the past, some seasons, the showmances are all people I don't like. And I'm like, I don't need to see more of these people. Like, you know, for example, BB19, BB21, I would have been fine without some of the things in that song. But it's fine. They give us a little, sometimes at least they'll give us like a little quick little thing. I'm like, that's fine. Like Ava in the segment about her family's fat asses. That's great. Or Adrian in his fight with the washing machine. Like, that's funny. Gets a little more about the personalities a little more. I get having to include the showman segments because that is like a big segment of their games. It definitely would impact, you know, how they play the game, how other people around them play the game, because once it's a showman, so you're like, oh, get him out of here. But when it's not even reciprocated, especially like Riley and Catherine, like, she does not seem interested at all. And he has bigger fish to fry at home, so he needs to be less worried about that. But it's fine. CBS wants to put in their little segments. That's okay. 90 minutes. That's what we get. It's okay. But we do get some things game-wise. We get the beginnings of a connection between Rachel and Keanu, which makes a lot more sense, which they didn't show on the feeds, but does explain things that happen a little later on, where they're talking to each other and Keanu opens up about, his reasons for coming on the show, about how his father has cancer, and he's, wanted to help take care of his family, and obviously Rachel, she's a mother, she has family, obviously, you know what I mean? So they do bond with that. She does feel like very connected to him because of that. It's hard to open up to people about things like that, especially week one. You don't just tell people like, hey, here's this deeply personal thing about my life. It takes a lot to do that. So it does build connections that way, and Rachel does feel strongly about Keanu because of that. And that is a very important connection that is being built for now. For now, things do change in this house like that. And we also get our first kind of big alliance segment with the formation of the Heavy Hitters Alliance. Now, is that alliance really relevant in this present time post these episodes? We'll see. But for right now, we have our Heavy Hitters, which is Rachel, Vince, Zach, Riley, Morgan, and Jimmy. Now, this is a pretty solid alliance. They have obviously the HOH. They have Rachel, who's a vet. Morgan, who seems very athletic and could be good at comps. Jimmy, who's already clearly won a competition. Riley's kind of there. I don't know why they put Riley in. I don't know why everybody's so gung-ho on Riley. He said that he doesn't want to win comps. So I would immediately be like, he doesn't need to be in our alliance, but they bring him in. And Zach, who has a power that nobody knows about. Props to him for not telling anybody about his power. Because that is a weapon they don't know they have. Yeah, they form this alliance. It kind of starts with, Zach and Jimmy kind of being like, who can we bring in? They pick some good people, mostly. Riley. I don't know why Riley. Why is Riley there? But it's fine. So they gotta lay the groundwork for this alliance. Now, going back to our nominees. They're getting ready to pull for the veto. And Isaiah, all the dude bros kind of have a little bond together. Keanu, Isaiah, Zach. Isaiah's coming up to Zach like, hey, if I pull you for this veto to play, you'll play for me, right? You'll use the veto on me. And now Zach has just formed this alliance that includes Vince, the current HOH, who's not going to want his name to change, and Rachel, who is very tight with Amy and Ashley. And Zach's like, yeah. And he's in that room like, hell no, do I want to win this? Hell no. I do not want this on me. Because that would definitely put him in a tight spot with his new alliance, who, especially Rachel, is definitely going to want Isaiah out over Amy and Ashley. And especially, and with Vince as well, who doesn't want his nominations to change. He's not targeting Isaiah. He does want Ashley out as his main target. But Vince is so afraid of doing any kind of moves that it's gonna, any kind of change of nominations would bother him. Yeah. We'll see how that goes later on. Now, on the other side of things, very similar to the Isaiah-Zach conversation, we have Amy and Rachel. And Rachel is the opposite of Zach. She's like, I want to win this shit for Amy. And, I mean, Rachel Riley, she's played a few competitions in her time across several shows. So she is no stranger to going out there and winning some comps. So she's like, if I get picked for this draw and I'm in, I'm gunning for it. And she doesn't give a fuck about this alliance or not. She's like, I don't care if it pisses Vince off. I'm taking Amy down. Which, you know what, good for her. She's Rachel Riley, she's gonna do whatever the hell she wants. So they gather up, they start pulling for the veto. Obviously, we have our 4 required people: Vince, Amy, Ashley, and Isaiah. They pull the chips. Oh, first chip pulled, Amy. Who's Amy gonna pick? Rachel. Second chip pulled, the gods have cursed this man. It's Zach. He's like, damn it. So, great for Rachel, worst case for Zach. He's like, son of a bitch, I don't want to play in this. I don't want to win this. He's going to put him in a tight spot, and he is actually in a very good spot in this game. You would think people would be looking at him, being the athletic person that he is, with great social connections, and knowing that he's won $10,000. Thank God they don't know it's a power. They just think, oh, he's won 10 grand. But they're not even, like, pressed about that. They're just like, cool, he's chill. So he does not want to kind of piss anybody off by winning this veto and taking, well, specifically Vince, by taking Isaiah down. I get it, but whatever. Personally, you'd have to throw that shit. I don't know if he does try to throw it in this comp. You can't really tell with the way they edit this. And they don't ask him in the diary room. Which does bring us to our veto competition. What's it called? Campfire Caper? Campsite Caper. Oh, Jesus. We're close enough. Which, they've done iterations of this competition before. Like, kind of different. Obviously not the Campsite Caper crime scene shit that they're doing this year. But essentially, they're in the backyard. They have 3 different crime scenes that they have to investigate, where each scene has a footprint, a tire track, and a different scent that they have to then use to match the correct perp to the crime scene with their little wall of pictures that they have. They have to match all 3, push the button if they're right, good money. Now, CBS. I would love to one day be able to watch a Big Brother competition with 1, real diary rooms, and 2, less goofy ass sound effects. The amount of, like, edited sniffing in this shit is crazy. Every time they have to pull something, it's like the most like noise you've ever heard. And I'm like, this is rough. This is a little rough. We could have cut down on the sniff budget. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. We could have toned it back. We could have chilled. But we didn't. It's fine. And then they even have Rachel Riley doing those diary rooms. So I walk into the backyard, and we are in this campsite, and there's a crime scene. There are 22 tire tracks on this tire track print, 22 markings on this tire track print. So that would rule out these 3 things. And I noticed this footprint has this kind of shape. Can we just get them? I don't understand why they need to reiterate everything to us. You just said all of the rules. Why do we need 3 different people in the room to explain it again to us? I'm gonna harp on this until I die. Or until CBS changes this. Because it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts why we need to, like... I would just love to get their actual, like, reactions and thoughts and feelings to this competition versus this, like, over-the-top, like... reiterating of the rules and every action, because you could tell it's not natural. They're like, I see there were 15 markings on this, and that would rule out this guy, and it's and way too many shots, by the way, of them with their heads in the little outhouse. They have their own little the little outhouse thing. That fishbowl lens was crazy. Literally, like, the camera's here. You got Rachel Riley with her head in the outhouse toilet? Come on now. Don't do that to Rachel Riley. But it's fine. The comp isn't actually bad. It is a pretty equitable comp. It's not like you have to run a mile to go get the clues. You don't have to sprint around the house to go find the clues and run back. And it's just, it's just the backyard. It's not a big space. Some people are doing okay. Some people are not. Vince, I don't think got any of them right. Some people did not get any right at all. It was getting pretty down to the wire with some people. I know, I believe it was Isaiah had 2, Ashley has 2. They weren't showing everybody too much. I know they just showed a bit. I remember the clip of Zach and Mitch is wrong, all wrong. But we do make it through this competition, despite all of the sniffing, and the toilet cam, and the and these tire drags. But we make it. Oh, CBS, 90 minutes. It's fine. And we get our veto winner. And I just have to say to these dudes in this house, you all think you're hot shit. Oh, the women can't win. We're the competitors. They're calling women, everybody a floater. It's day 5, and you're like, they're such a floater. Because they just assume they can't win comps. Guess what? Ashley wins the veto. That's right. Maybe try being good at shit. Learn how to smell. So Ashley, obviously, over the fucking moon. Super pumped. She's taking herself down. She's not crazy. Vince, not too happy. Vince is not thrilled. Because that was his target for the week. Over some nonsense, mind you. But that was his target. And now he's like, great. What the hell do I do now? And honestly, he's not the greatest when it's coming up to noms. I don't even know where to begin with him. He is like, so, like, what do I do? Oh no. And then here comes crazy ass Kelly. She watched BB26 one time and was like, I could be Tucker. I could do that. Put me on the block. Why? He's like, no, I can't put you. Put me up. Why? And he is trying so adamant. Put me on the block. And he's going to do this all week. Up until the veto ceremony. He's going to be like, oh my god. Oh, I have to put up Kelly. Oh no. Oh. Other people are coming to him with nomination suggestions. He's like, oh, I gotta put up Kelly. No, you don't. Why? Vince is supposed to be a super fan. Said he's been watching since season 16, been watching the feeds, and he is willing to put up one upon that he is not ready to risk going home into an ally. Even if you didn't watch any seasons of the show besides BB26, if they recruited you and you're just like, I can watch this, I'll watch this last season. That should have taught you. Do not put a ally up as a pawn. If you saw Quinn's HOHs both times, he put up a pawn, that was an ally, and Cedric and Joseph went home on his HOHs. Like, that should just be enough of a lesson to tell you. Never, ever, ever, ever put anybody on the block if you are not willing to watch them walk out this door. Because you don't know what's going to happen. Especially with the BB Blockbuster twist that's been added. The odds of your target coming down are higher now. Because there's an extra comp that could be one to take them down. And you're just going to like, oh, I'll just put you on the block. Maybe, hopefully you won't go home. You're my number 2 in this house. Why? Put people up that you will be okay with, personally and game-wise, watching them leave. It's like, it's so simple. You wouldn't think it would be this hard to not nominate somebody you're working with. Somebody that's a vote for your side. Somebody that is like a number for you that you know will work with you in this game. You'd think it'd be that easy. Especially when you have other options. And now let's get into his other options. Because we have some beef afoot. Jimmy and Keanu. Now the edit for this in the show was crazy. They left a lot out. They just, I don't know how to really explain. They don't really give the reasonings fully as to why these two are kind of going head to head. So I'm going to explain it as well as I can with as much time as I have. because it's kind of nonsense. I'm gonna be so real. It's a stupid shit. These people are kind of ridiculous. Keanu's Jimmy is one. Okay, Jimmy is one of those people where he says to people, "I'm not gonna be fake with you. If I'm failing you, great. If I'm not, you're gonna know." And Keanu is one of those guys that's like, "Where's my hug at?" So he goes to Jimmy that morning. Hug. Give me a hug. Jimmy's like, "I'm good. I don't want to hug you." Keanu deeply offended. Keanu takes it very personally that he does not want to get a hug from Jimmy. That Jimmy does not want a hug from him. Excuse me. And I'm like, it's just a hug. You're fine. You don't hug me. I wouldn't even be like, don't hug me. Even if it was my number one, I'd be like, I'm good. You don't need to hug me at good morning. And people are already being a little irritated with Keanu because he's a lot. He's all over the place. There's a whole segment in here, in the episode of Ava being like, this man won't leave me alone. Everywhere I go, he appears. And this is also the same day, the whole Jimmy and Keanu hug mess, where Keanu decides, I'm going to go around, start pitching a 10-person alliance. And nobody's feeling it. He is like, it's going to be great. It's this person. I don't even remember who he said it, because he's pitching a 10-person alliance, and then he's also like, we can also work with like a bunch of these other people outside of the alliance, which is the whole house. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Nobody knows what the hell he's talking about. So everybody else is like, Keanu's crazy as hell. So Jimmy is going up to Vince, being like, you should put Keanu up. But multiple people are also going up to Vince and being like, you should put Keanu up. He's out of his mind. Why is he pitching a 10-person alliance to us? Mind you, Keanu thinks this is solid as a rock and doesn't realize people are ratting out his alliance that he's made up in his head. And nobody's buying what he's selling. I specifically remember him talking to Ava, and Ava being like, wow, just like slumped in her chair, like, okay. And then him talking to Catherine and Lauren, who were like, sure, what the fuck? Nobody's buying it. They don't really show that in the episode. They don't show his whole 10-person alliance pitch, or the other people that were going up to Vince and pitching Keanu. They just show Jimmy. Now, going back to the conversation Keanu was having with Ava, he mentions to Ava about Jimmy being the head of the snake with another little grouping. I believe he's referring to, if I remember correctly, the Rachel, Ashley, Amy kind of grouping, because he's now kind of bonded with Rachel, kind of like keep friends close, enemies closer kind of way. I don't think they're just like personally getting along. He does still want to get her out, but he thinks it's too soon, which I agree. So Ava, mastermind, who I love her so dearly, I love Ava so bad, is like, well, he's giving me this information, and I'm using the fuck out of this. Goes to Jimmy, and she's like, Keanu said you're a snake. I don't know. I hear he's running your name. So Jimmy does not like that. Not happy with that at all. Goes to work even more to Vince to pitch this man going up on the block. And Vince, they don't show this episode. Actually, in fact, in the episode they show him in the diary room saying, I'm not going to do that. He was very strongly considering that. But what they don't show is him changing his mind because of who? Rachel Riley. Throwing all the way back to that conversation they were having about Keanu's father. She's like, I want Keanu in the house. So she is the one that convinces him, don't put up Keanu. Put up Kelly. And Vince is like, wow, you're right. Now Jimmy, I think he's picking up that Vince isn't buying what he's selling. So he's prepping, in his little mind, a speech. And he's hyping this up. A speech to call out Keanu at the veto ceremony. And I'm like, okay. I do love a call out. What's he cooking up? Now, what I didn't realize was at the time, we had already kind of seen when he was cooking up on the feeds. I didn't realize he was rehearsing. But we'll get there. he actually goes to, of all people, Rachel, like, I don't know, do you think, is this a bad idea to call out Keanu at the meeting? Rachel Riley, brilliant mastermind that she is like, what? Why would that be a bad idea? No, definitely do that. And she's in the diary room like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. He's gonna fuck his game up. I hope he does it. I can't wait. Can you tell this woman works in casting too? Because she's like, oh yeah. Add that little drama in there. Go ahead, go crazy. That's gonna work great for you. I'm sure. So, oh boy, did we get to this veto ceremony. And what does Vince do? He has two very strong options with Jimmy and Keanu. They're both beefing with each other. They're both really pitching hard. There's multiple people pitching either one. What does this idiot do? What does he do? What does he do? Why? I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. He puts up Kelly. I could say it I'm not going to repeat myself again about why you shouldn't put your allies on the block. So call Quinn Martin. He'll tell you. He'll tell you why you should not put your allies on the block. Now, they barely are out of their seats for this veto ceremony. And the editing is just very funny. Because they start having Kelly talk in the diary room about like, oh, I'm on the block, blah, blah, and they cut that shit off. And Jimmy's like, excuse me. I have something to say. Mind you, Jimmy is in like is in an all-black outfit, wearing a snake necklace and a bandana, and here he comes with his big call-out. I didn't realize how much he had rehearsed this, because I heard him say one of the lines to Rachel, and I didn't realize this was his pitch. That was his practice. It's okay. He's kind of like, I don't want to do this back and like behind the scenes chitter chatter, like telephone, who said what. I'm gonna talk to you directly, Keanu. You're calling me a snake. You're trying to get put on the block. Just know I'm gunning for you. And he's like, I'm not fake, and I'm not this, whatever you're saying. The only thing fake about me is these sunglasses, and he throws them. And he did that on the feeds before, and I watched that, and I was like, oh, that's what that was? Okay. And Keanu's just like, everyone's kind of looking at one, I'm like, what's happening? And Keanu is just, and he didn't say anything, and he just goes, so how long did it take you to come up with that one? And he kind of eats him up, because Jimmy's kind of like, we're done here, and just gets up and leaves. And I'm like, yeah. You can't rehearse this. I know, like, Angela rehearsed her moment, but she was, like, half awake, mumbling like a maniac. People, I know this is a TV show, but, like, you gotta be a little less scripted. You gotta at least try to make it be a little more natural, you know? So you don't get ate the fuck up by Keanu. But it's fine. Because we got Kelly crying about being on the block. Even though she volunteered, she's crying. Crying! And she says the most egregious thing. She says in the diary room, apparently, pawns go home. Apparently? I am begging Big Brother to please cast people who have at least watched this show. I know she said on feed she's only watched BB20 and BB26. You should know that pawns go home. You watched 26. How many pawns went home on that shit? Even on 20. Like, that season, like, that pre-jury for 20 was, like, blinds after blindside for, like, Faute and the Hive. Like, that was... like, that was... Apparently, pawns go home. I'll scream right now. If you're not watching the feeds, you don't realize this. This woman is so obsessed with Tucker It's crazy. She is really thinking she's Tucker. She's the AI instigator. No, girl, you're not. You're not. I'm so sorry to tell you, you're not. But news for her, if she is on that block after the BB blockbuster, she's going home. So pawns, in fact, do go home, girly. So that's where we end off on episode 3. Now, moving into episode 4, our live eviction. I just have a lot of feelings. When we start, I am immediately concerned about the comp for the blockbuster because they show the nominees sitting there. And both Amy and Isaiah are in full athletic gear. Kelly's in jeans and a sweater, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go. I mean, like, is it gonna be some kind of running thing and she's gonna be in, like, her jeans and get no friction? I don't know. I just get nervous. I'm like, why, what are you doing? But it's fine. And they take us back to post veto ceremony where Keanu and Jimmy immediately kind of hash it out. They kind of don't, because they still don't really, they're not working together, they're not really trusting each other, but they're kind of like minimizing their little beef for now, which, by the way, is where we came back to with the feeds after the veto ceremony. They were already like making up and hugging. We're like, what? We missed all the drama. Now, there wasn't much drama to be missed, clearly, because it wasn't that good of a call out, but it's fine. What do I know? I'm not in the house. I'm not here to make good TV. But it's okay. Now, with obviously his target Ashley coming down, Vince is now like, well, I don't want Isaiah to go, and I don't want Kelly to go, obviously. So it's gotta be Amy. And who's not letting that happen? Rachel Riley. Hell no, if she's gonna let that happen. But even though they're in alliance together, I do like that this season. Well, I don't know. People are in alliances but not voting together and not agreeing on targets together. So I don't know if it's a good thing if people playing their own individual games, or it's a bad thing that you don't have solid alliances to rely on because you're kind of aligning people that you. It's like you're making alliances with people that you're not aligned with game wise. So I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work out in the long run. Because if you can't trust your alliance to vote with you, that's not great. That's not really an alliance. That's just people. I don't know. I'm more interested to see how that plays out later on as the weeks go by with these votes. It's only week 1. So we don't know how it's going to affect that long term. But obviously, Vince can't go to his heavy hitters alliance and be like, hey guys, can we vote out Amy because Rachel's going to knock his ass out. So we start to get the formations of another alliance. The damn Burger Boys. This is the worst alliance name. I swear to God. Sometimes I wonder with these names what they're thinking. People are thinking that maybe they're trying to do Five Guys, and obviously that's copyrighted, so they can't do that. But our Burger Boys. I just can't go to my alliance name. I'm so sorry. It's fine. It's fine. So it's we got Isaiah, Will, Riley, Vince, and Zach. It's the dudes. It's the dudes. And I'm like, oh boy. Mind you, these men have been so paranoid about an all-girls alliance. But yeah, here they are with the dude bro all-men alliance. Funny how that works out. Really interesting. But whatever. So they're like, we're gonna lock in. And we're gonna get Amy out. And we're gonna make sure Kelly doesn't leave or Isaiah doesn't leave. Because Kelly, she's pissing people off. She's annoying. She's annoying as hell. She just doesn't say the right things at the right time. Like, they show a couple examples in the episodes how she keeps reminding people in Zach's presence that he won 10 grand. And he's like, why does she keep bringing it up? Or she'll be like, oh, yeah, you guys are working out all your alliance. I'm calling you this. I'm making you an alliance. And they're like, can you not announce to the whole house that we're an alliance when we're not? And she said, oh, I thought it was funny. It's not. So people aren't the most thrilled with Kelly. People are very fine with watching Kelly leave, which is why if she's on the block after this, she's kind of cooked. She's in some danger. And she, you know, she put herself there. So I don't know what to say to her, man. You don't put yourself up on the block. Don't volunteer. Don't think that, oh, I can win this. I can win my way out. You never know. We all thought Tucker was going to win his way out that week he went home, and he fucked up the puzzle, did it backwards, and Mackenzie won, and he got sent out. So, anything can happen. That showed us, by the way, in the middle of this, a segment with the mastermind. Kind of. I don't know why. It felt very randomly thrown in there. I was just doing it because this was the order of the episode, and it's in my notes that way. With the mastermind just walking around while they're sleeping. Can I say something? I actually fully thought he was in there with them when they were sleeping. And everybody was like, obviously they edited that together. He's not in there. And I'm like, oh. I thought he was. I was like, that's creepy. Oh. Hello? Okay. No. Yep. There we go. Sorry, he's like unfocused. I really thought he was in there. And I was like, if I woke up and that man was in the room, I would have knocked him the fuck out. But there's something going on with that safe behind the picture by the door. Because he was touching it. He was like, you can't keep me from this. And I'm like, what's in there? There's got to be like some kind of power or something in there that we're cooking up. But, they're starting this really early. I'm sure we're not going to know until, like, Final 4 or something crazy. It's going to be, like, a deep run before we find out what's behind that safe. They're not going to show us week 2. Because that seems to be, like, the big thing. I don't know. So we get a little mastermind segment. Nothing, again, about anything else with the accomplice. They haven't had Amy do anything else yet. So I don't know if that was just for the first day. If Amy's going to have to do more things. They're not touching on it at all. Just they've had the mastermind walk around the house, and that's really it. And I'm like, nothing else with Amy? That's it? She's just done? I guess. Sure. Whatever. Who knows with Big Brother with these twists? They just kind of do what they want. Sometimes they last long, sometimes... Hello? There we go. Sometimes they last long, sometimes they're like 2 weeks, and we're like, actually, we don't want that anymore. Everybody remember, it's time for a BB takeover week, and it was like 3 weeks, and they're like, we're not doing that shit anymore. So you never know. Excuse me, I need I'm knocking shit over. Okay. I'm trying to rush through this a little bit, because I'm looking at the clock, and time is ticking. So I'm trying to, like, my notes here. Let me see. Where are we? Yeah, mastermind walking around. Now, the girls are cooking. They're like, why would we send Amy home over Isaiah? Because he is clearly a threat. He's not doing a good job of hiding that he's a threat. Obviously, they can physically see that he's a threat. He's constantly working out. He's this big. He's very athletic and tall. And then he's crushing them all in chess, teaching people how to play chess, speaking, like, Spanish to everybody. It's like, don't do that. It reminds me a lot of BB23, when they were starting to look at Christian, like, we gotta get him out of here, when he was in the backyard doing the backflip burpees. And they were like, and Tiffany was like, he needs to go. What the fuck is this? don't try to be a threat. Like, do not, if you're trying to not be a threat, don't teaching people chess. Don't just do backflips in the backyard for no reason. As a workout, you're doing a burpee into a backflip. No. Dumb yourself down a little bit. Don't lose a chess game or two. They keep showing him winning chess games. He should have. I'd have been like, I don't know. I fucked up. I don't know. But then again, this is also the same guy who got all his advice on how to play Big Brother from Chat GPT. So I wasn't expecting greatness from him anyways. So they're like, this guy's definitely a threat. Why are we going to keep him? Very smart. I wouldn't keep this guy either. You know, Morgan is really cooking on this. Morgan's definitely like, I don't. This camera is like not focusing on me. Excuse me. Hello? Okay. I'm like trying to move slow so it doesn't unfocus. We good? Yeah. But yeah, definitely, you know, Morgan, Ashley, Rachel are like, we don't need to keep this guy. The girls, pretty much. The girlies are like, I don't know about this. And, you know, Morgan is kind of talking with Will about this. Will is like, ooh, I do have this alliance with him, so I don't know about that. I know he made the Burger Boys alliance. How strong is that alliance really? I don't know. I don't know how truly solid they are. I'm sure, obviously, with every alliance, there's going to be some people who are way more committed to it than others. So Will's like, I don't know. Because he's tight. Obviously, he's pretty tight with a lot of people on that side of the house. He's pretty close with Morgan, Mickey, Ava as well. Ava, you know, Ava's more kind of... She's been kind of like a swing vote in this little side area. Not that there's two solid sides. It was kind of wavering sides, but the sides are now crumbling. But Will was kind of in the middle, leaning more towards, obviously, Isaiah with his Burger Boys Alliance. I hate having to say fucking Burger Boys Alliance, but it's fine. Now, they also show us the fight. The fight between Rachel and Isaiah. Now, they cut a lot of it out. So definitely go look up the actual full fight. And this is, honestly, Isaiah's fault. I don't know why he would say this. Clearly, this man, obviously, you know, he doesn't know Big Brother. Obviously. He's been pitching himself. I will say, props to him. He has been pitching himself this week. Like, hey, you know, campaigning. Don't send me home. Has he been campaigning well? His pitching has pretty much been, if you vote for me to leave, I'm gonna target you. If you vote for me to stay, if you don't vote for me, that's great. If you cast a vote against me, I'm gunning for you. It's like the gist of it, pretty much. That's pretty much all he's going for here, which is a choice. So he's saying this to a lot of people. Now he makes the mistake of saying this to, of all people, Rachel Riley. Why would you say that to her? And he doesn't, obviously, he says it in his little roundabout way, like, oh, you know, if I'm here, I'm gonna be looking at the people who voted to send me out, and I know you're voting for Amy. You're voting to keep Amy here, so, you know, you're in that pool of people I would put up if I won HOH. And Rachel's like, so you're gunning for me? So you're targeting me? And he's like, well, I didn't say that. You kinda did. You did just say that. You didn't say it directly. You didn't say, I'm gunning for you, like Jimmy said to Keanu in the meeting. But you pretty much said, you're one of my options as a target. Why he would say that? Especially to Rachel Riley. Like, not very smart. So, obviously, she's not the most happy about that. And she tells them, you better be careful if you're coming for the queen, because you might end up getting beheaded. I love Rachel Riley. She eats this shit up. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love her so bad. She gagged. And they cut out a lot of their fight. It wasn't, like a screaming match fight, but it was definitely, like, an argument. Were either of them great in this fight? No. Rachel, she's not known for being great at fights. She knows when to start them. She doesn't know how to end them. That's okay. I will say, they did edit one section of Isaiah when he's at the top of the railing on the landing upstairs talking to Rachel, who's like coming down the stairs, and he's like, as long as I'm in this house, you're not gonna win twice. They edited it a lot smoother than when he actually said it, where he stumbled and fumbled his way through. And he didn't even say that line at first. He said, instead of you're not gonna win twice, he says, you're not gonna win 2 times in a row. And he's like, oh, wait, no, I mean, you're not gonna win twice. Then, like, he's not the most eloquent speaker. He is, like, kind of bumbling and fumbling, usually, when he's talking. So, he's getting torn up here by Rachel. Because she's much better at fighting. Eloquently, at least. I wish they had left it in. It would have been really funny if they left him in, like, not like that. That'd have been funny. Rachel just standing there, like, okay. But yeah, definitely go check out the full fight to see it, because it's great. It's really good. It was, like, late, too. It was, like, late, because I woke up that morning, and it was, like, a couple hours before, and I was like, damn, I miss everything. Finally, we get through the segments from the rest of the week, and we're live, baby. It's time for our BB blockbuster. Now, why are we starting with this? They are doing the comp that they did, similar, not exactly the same, they did last year, the week Brooklyn went home, with Cam, Chelsea, and Brooklyn, where there is a screen, there's 3 screens, with scrambled words floating around like this. And for this competition, they have to unscramble the words, figure out what the phrase is, find the correct item that correlates with that phrase, run back to their podiums, put the item down, hit the button, and they win. Last season, it was related to matching the pictures, the items in the pictures with the correct, object picture thing. And it was so bad that none of them could figure it out, and they had to just put the words on the screen, like, here, idiots, here's the answer, please finish this goddamn comp. So I see it's this, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Because I'm thinking this is gonna be a while. Now, I rewatched this episode and I timed this. Julie, explains everything, like, all right, you guys ready? Go. They're looking around. And when I'm watching it for the first time, I'm trying to figure out the words too. I barely figure out 2 of the words, and Kelly's one. Kelly has absolutely sniped this competition. It was crazy. Like, and she's so nonchalant about it. When I saw her walk up to her podium with the tiara in her hand, I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, is she just taking a guess? And she just put down, she goes, and she wins. I'm like, what? I had to figure out with, and then I thought steel was least. So I was nowhere close. So I went back when I rewatched it and timed it. Watching Kelly, within 20, she looks at the screens quick. Within 20 seconds, she's already on the move. And at 25 seconds, she's holding the crown in her hand. And the rest of the time, she just does a lap to the other items to see what they are to make sure it's the correct one. And within a minute, she's hitting the button. Like, a minute and like 5 seconds. She just hit the button. She figured out those words in 20 seconds. Crazy. I didn't even and I couldn't even figure out the words. And we could see most of them on the screen because of the wide camera lens. They're in person and they have to turn like this to look at the big ass letters on the screen that are flying like that. I'm like, holy shit. She's cracked. It's a good thing the other people in the house don't see that, because if I was in the house and I saw her snipe it that fast, I'm like, we gotta get Kelly out as soon as we can. Because that was crazy. That was like crazy quick. I don't know how the hell she did that. So, the comps over that like that. So our final nominees are Amy and Isaiah. Now they do the thing where they're like, okay, Julie's like, all right, guys, here come the people from the comp. Our winner is Kelly. Kelly, sobbing her eyes out as if she didn't volunteer to go on the block. You volunteered! Why are you crying? I mean, I don't think she knew that she was going home. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, the segment where she was crying in the HOH room, like, I think I fucked up putting myself up on the block. You think? She was very lucky that she won, because she was gonna go home if she didn't. She was cooked. So it's a good thing she sniped the hell out of that puzzle. Now, for those of if you don't know, once they tell the house who the winner is, Julie tells them, you have a few minutes to do some quick strategy now that you know who the final noms are before we have to vote. So people are trying to do that. Some people are. Rachel especially. Rachel's going people to people. We here talk to Adrian. Adrian tells her, I said my word. Like, I promised my word. I don't want to go back on my word. Rachel's like, what the fuck ever. She goes to talk to Will. We see a couple people kind of go off to the side. Catherine and Mickey are talking. Oh my goodness. Isaiah's trying to pitch to people. And there's somebody else. I believe Morgan? I'm trying to look. I wrote it down. No, I'm sorry. Lauren, not Morgan. Lauren and Keanu are talking as well. The problem is, we can't hear it. Why? Because Kelly. I don't know why they didn't turn her mic off. She's sobbing her eyes out, yelling to the camera, like Cam talking in the middle of this like strategy session to the cameras, like, oh, mom, dad, this is for you. I'm making friends. I'm having so much fun. Jimmy's talking to the camera with her. Well, we love her. I'm like, can we kill their mics? I'm trying to hear what the hell Mickey and Catherine have to say, because there were a few swing votes in this. We were not sure about how this was going to go with Kelly off the block. More specifically, our main swing votes in the middle there were Catherine, Lauren, Ava, Will, and Adrian. They have been kind of, in the middle, and they could have been kind of swaying either way. So when you see people talking to the swing votes, you want to hear what they're saying. But then we got Kelly crying. Kelly talking to her parents. And I'm like, production, kill the mic. Just kill the mic. We don't need to hear. I'm trying to hear the strategy that's happening. I'm not trying to hear Kelly sobbing her eyes out. And they're all trying, Kelly. This is not Jerry Springer. Move on. I'm begging you. So Julie's like, all right, time to vote. We barely heard anything they said, but time to vote. I'm like, great, thanks. Well, they give their speeches first. Now, their speeches. Another reason why I'm glad Kelly, well, I'm not glad Kelly didn't win, because I would have been fine with Kelly going. But another reason Kelly should be glad that she came down, because she was banking on these speeches like they were going to change the minds of everybody in that house. They never do. Literally one time, I think it was last season with chemo. Because these speeches aren't great. Amy's speech is pretty much just talking about how Isaiah's a really good competitor, and take him out. Don't keep I can't win anything, so keep me. Don't. That's not a good. That's not a good pitch. To be like, keep me. I can't win shit. Don't. That's no. And then Isaiah, his was like good in theory, but in like actual delivery, like I said, he's not the most eloquent speaker. He essentially was, trying to get the message across like, hey, we need to get Rachel out. Amy is a number for Rachel. She's always going to vote with. She's pretty much like a second vote. But he's like, he's stumbling his way through this. It's not the most eloquently prepared speech. He's no Chelsea. He's no Taylor Hale with speeches here. I don't want to say it's giving. I don't even want to say it's giving Gina Marie, but it wasn't that bad either. But it was great. He had like the right idea, it's just bad execution. Also, doesn't help that Rachel Riley is sitting like 2 feet away from him, giving him like this, like mean mugging the fuck out of him. She is trying to melt him with her mind. They had the camera on her for a bit while he was talking, and she's just like, she wanted that man dead. So I also would be fumbling if Rachel Riley was looking like at me like she wanted to knock me out. Like, it's okay. The speeches don't really matter at the end of the day. I think the only time that they've actually had any kind of effect was with Chemo last season, when Mackenzie and Chelsea flipped their votes last minute after his really good speech. But other than that, I don't think it's ever changed anybody's mind. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Half the time people use it for shoutouts, so whatever. At least he said something. At least he said something of game substance and wasn't like, follow me on Instagram. Shout out to my mom. So, props for that. At least. So they go to vote. Now, I was a little nervous. I mean, I knew they kind of had the votes for Isaiah, but you never know, especially with this cast. For days before this, I had no idea. They were so all over the place. Like, Ashley was wanting to keep Isaiah over like Amy and I was like, what is she doing? Like they were just so all over the place. I'm like, oh my god, what are we doing? So I didn't know, but with the feeds down before this happens, people can change their mind in a second. So when we're going into the votes, they do the obvious votes first. They do Kelly's vote first. Kelly is locked with the dudes, so she votes out Amy. But she doesn't really like Amy. I don't think she really likes Amy that much, or Rachel either. So she's not going to be like, yay, let's keep Amy. Obviously, Rachel votes for Isaiah to go. It's very funny. Julie didn't even get to talk. Julie's like trying to talk to Rachel, and Rachel's just like yelling. She's like, Isaiah, get this man out of here. I want to slam the door in his face. I'm like, that's Rachel Riley, baby. Get his ass. And we're going through the votes. I'm sweating. I always count like this when the votes are happening with my fingers. I'm like, okay, 2 for this, 2 for this. We go to commercial break, we got 4-2. I'm sweating. I'm like, okay. We got 4 for Isaiah, 2 for Amy. We come back, we go through the rest of the votes. So there were some interesting votes. I wasn't expecting Will. I wasn't sure where Will was going to land with this, because he was really kind of a toss-up. But he did vote to evict Amy. As did Adrian. I guess he kept his word to Isaiah that he wasn't going to vote him out. The most surprising vote for me was Riley, who voted to evict Isaiah. I would like to believe that's something with Catherine, because he promised Catherine the world. He said he would lay his game down for her. So if she did that, props to you, girly. Get his ass. Hook, line, and sinker. But the girlies, this is a win for the girls, because 9-5, Isaiah's gone. Let me see. And I have the votes written down as well, because I just wanted to read them. Yep, so the votes for Isaiah to leave were Rachel, Morgan, Mickey, Jimmy, Riley, Lauren, Catherine, Ava, and Ashley. And the only people who voted to get rid of Amy were Kelly, Zach, Keanu, Will, and Adrian. So 3 of the 4 other Burger Boys, and Riley did de facto, I guess. Adrian was kind of one of the swing votes, so was Will, but I'm glad they were able to pull the girls in as well. Which made a lot of sense, because Ava was like, why the fuck? Ava, who I love so dearly, was like, everybody in America would think we were dumbasses if we kept Isaiah this week. She's like, they'd be like, they're so stupid. Why would they keep that man in the house? Are they crazy? And she's right. I would have been like, are you out of your mind? Get him out. Be gone. Goodbye. And he's gone. So they did the right thing. They knew what they had to do. Get a physical threat out. A very obvious threats. Once you get him on the block, you never know when you're gonna get another chance. So take the shot. And they swung and they hit. Now, when Julie reads these votes, she also doesn't back her up. She says by a vote of 5-9, which she never usually it's the bigger number. That's just a finicky thing. Oh, Zach starts sobbing. Literally sitting there. Crying. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I get they were friends, but I'm like, damn. It was giving BB24 when Paloma self-evicted, and Turner's like crying. Everybody's crying over Paloma. Week 1, who gives a shit? They're all like, oh, Paloma self-evicted. I couldn't care less. I was having a party. And I was having a party last night. Or, excuse me, Thursday night. And Zach's sobbing. I'm like, deja vu. Rachel's very happy. Amy's also tearing up a little bit, but she thinks she's just happy to be alive. So Zay's cooked. He's done. Zach's sobbing. They're hugging. They're like, group hug. Not everybody in the group got in that hug, but mind you. But they had a group hug. And then they were taking their sweet time. Because they were running this episode to the wire. And Julie's like, okay, we need Isaiah out of the house now, please. Before this episode ends. So they bring him out. This was a really short interview. Usually we'll do an extended interview if they don't have a lot of time in the episodes. They did not. Not that I'm aware of. Because usually Julie will say, keep an eye out for my extended interview with Isaiah on Instagram. They didn't. They didn't show him his goodbye messages or anything. Which is crazy. I'm like, I want to see those. You have Rachel Riley on your cast. You send somebody out she doesn't like, and you don't let me see her diary room. Her goodbye message. What a waste. What a waste. So they kind of fight this interview probably because they had like 3 minutes left of the episode. Because they were kind of to the wire. Probably because they had to edit in the fight with Rachel and Isaiah. Because that happened the morning of. Like overnight before Wednesday night or Thursday. They had to like, shit, we gotta splice that in somewhere. So they were cutting it close. So they didn't really ask him a lot. She asked me, how you feeling? Oh, it sucks, whatever, it's week 1, I don't care. He wasn't that committed to the game. Like, he wasn't like, this wasn't his dream. He's besties with Sammy from Survivor 43, and Sammy said that they had applied for Amazing Race, and that's how Isaiah ended up on Big Brother, because they pulled him for that. So he wasn't like, oh my god, I love Big Brother so much. Clearly because he asked ChatGPT for advice, and but it's fine. Now, Julie tells him, oh, would you be surprised to know that Riley, your fellow burger boy, didn't vote for you? Or voted for you, I mean. And Eve's like, what? Oh, why'd he do that? He's like, we had a final 2. What? Oh. He's also giving nothing. Like, some people are like, their interviews are so good. Like, Quinn's with Jerry O'Connell. But I really liked Quinn's exit interview. Even though I was upset. or like Rockstar, when Rockstar's out and Julie's like, oh, uh, like, who do you feel the most betrayed by? And Rockstar's like, well, whoever came up with that fucking hacker twist. Like, at least give me something. Gold Girl give us nothing. Even when Julie is like, remember, the people thought you were the accomplice, and people thought it was Riley, but obviously it's not Riley, and it's obviously not you. Can you give us a guess who you think it is? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Can you tell me? Are you gonna tell me? Can you play along? Damn, say a name. Fucking make a name up. Like, give her something. You know, Julie. Sometimes she's just like kind of like there. You know, we all know Julie. Sometimes she's not in it to win it, but like you got at least give her something. Damn. He wouldn't even give her a guess. He was like, "Oh, are you gonna tell me?" Yeah, and she's like, "Well, I'll show you." And they put up a picture of Amy on the screen behind her, and he's like, "Oh, Amy, oh." He doesn't even give a good reaction. And she's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Oh, yeah, it makes sense, you know, because she's kind of like Rachel, you know, they're both like, you know, similar, so they'd probably be like Rachel was her replacement." I'm like, damn, he clocked that. That's literally all he gave her. Like he didn't have any like real like strong reaction. He was kind of just like, oh, yeah, they're both old moms. Not my words, probably his words, because he acted like Amy was old and decrepit and wouldn't win a competition. That was what pissed me off this whole week. He did not believe for 1 second she would even come close to winning this BB blockbuster. They never once considered any kind of possibility where she was the one that would have won. So he was like, "Oh yeah, this old mom, whatever." And I'm like, same thing with Victor. He's like, when after their fight, when he was recapping the fight to everybody in the fucking house, he was like, "Yeah, I can't believe a mother in her 40s would act like that." Rachel Riley, Rachel Riley. You could tell he hasn't seen shit, because if you're surprised Rachel Riley is ready to tussle, welcome to Big Brother, babes. So he's obviously in his little brain. He's like, "Oh, old moms, makes sense. They're the same." Whatever. And Julie's like, "All right, well, wrap it up. We're done." Literally, just like this interview was nothing. It was nothing. We didn't get the goodbye messages. There wasn't even an extended interview. Isaiah wasn't even giving anything good. Like, at least give us something. Nothing. Which is pretty much what he was contributing to the house. Like, I know they were like, "Oh, he's great." Was he? Oh, he said a slur. Wow. Great. Which, by the way, in the clips when they were showing him being good at chess, when Morgan was talking about like his threat levels, they put the clip of the chess game with Keanu when he said the slur, but didn't put that in the slur in the episode. Interesting. But don't worry, we already got our TMZ article. So you can't hide from that forever, sir. I don't know. I don't have much to say about his exit. I'm fine. I'm glad that he went home. You say a slur, I don't need you in my house. Goodbye. And he wasn't. I am not a fan of the dude bros who just don't count women in as competitors. He refused to acknowledge like many of the women in the house that could win a comp. A couple of them like that. The dudes like are refusing. They were like, "Oh, I think he was him and Zach. I think both mentioned like, oh, it's not fair. You know, there's more women than men. How about you, I don't know, work with a woman?" Crazy, I know. Can you believe that they can actually win competitions? He thinks this is he should have been on BB25. He would have had a ball. He would have had so much fun. He would have had a slur friend. Wow. But we are back in the world of equitable comps, so women are actually able to win again. So maybe they should actually look at women as something more than a showman's potential or like a friend. Like, how about consider them as equal competitors in this game? Just a thought. But yeah. Nothing Burger interview, Nothing Burger competitor, he's gone. And I'm fine. And that's where we end episode 4 because they ran out the clock. They didn't even have Julie do like go over the episode like for the next week where she talks about like, oh, tune in on Sunday night to see who won the HOH and tune in on Wednesday to see the veto. And no. Excuse me. They literally had like a pre-recorded like voiceover video of her doing that. That's how down to the wire they were. So yeah, there was not much from his exit to discuss. But I wish we got that extended interview. Oh my god. I'm like, my throat was so dry. Pardon me. He's sucking the soul from me. Because it was that's how dry his interview was. I'm joking. Yeah, I'm fine to see him go. I honestly, some of these people, excuse me, by the time the eviction night rolled around, I would have been kind of fine with any of the three of them going. Less so Amy. Just her and Ashley are kind of, I don't even know where to begin with her and Ashley on the feed. If you watch the feeds, you know. You know. They are. Kelly is crazy. And Isaiah was, you say a slur, I don't need you. I don't need an annoying dude bro who doesn't respect women as equals and says slurs, so I'm happy. So that's kind of all I got for this week. We have a lot coming up. If you've been watching the feeds, you know, with these upcoming episodes, there's a lot coming up. And I'm excited to get into it. But I do have to wrap it up here. It is literally the episode's gonna start. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Back to me. I am excited to see where this week goes. Not really. Well, yes. I love it really. There's a lot happening. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm gonna aim, I said last time Saturday, now it's Sunday. But I'll say, we're trying for Tuesday for our Sunday night recap. So yeah, that is all I've got for y'all now, and I gotta go. Because literally Big Brother's in 15 minutes. Alright, y'all. Well, I will be seeing you next time.